Hi friends, my name is Kylie and this is I've Kai Creations. This is my art YouTube channel and today we are filling in the first page of my sketchbook and we're just gonna go ahead and watch me struggle for a minute. hmm Oh thank goodness, that was embarrassing. But here is our thumbnail for today. That was just a quick sketch I did and then a color layout thing I did. Um, so now we're going to get into the actual sketch for the final spread here. And while I sketch, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about me and my art journey from the beginning to now. So I would say that I've been doing art for basically my whole life. I could not tell you a time in my life where I was not drawing, coloring, doing something creative. When I would go to grandparents' houses, they had like sketchbooks specifically, like little notebooks. I would have write my name on it and I would do fun stuff in there. I would also like do crafts and stuff, but mainly art stuff. I would say I should totally try to find my old little notebooks at my grandma's house. I guarantee you she still has them. Um, but yeah, so basically I've been drawing, sketching, creating for my whole life, and that includes in school. I took an art course or class every single year that I was in school, and that's from obviously kindergarten, you were in art, all the way through every single year of high school and college. I didn't go to 4 years of college, I only did two, but still, every single year I did an art class. To the point in high school, actually, in my senior year, I had taken all of the like fine art classes, and the only other art class I hadn't taken was ceramics. And it didn't fit into my schedule because of one of my college classes. So I asked my teacher, I was like, hey, I really want to be in an art course, but like I've taken all of them. Can I just take one again? And she basically was like, no, like we can't have you doing the same projects again. So we basically created my own class for me, and I was the only student in said class. So basically, I just went to her room during a period where she had a lower art class, and I would just sit at like a desk by myself and do whatever I wanted. She did not create like projects for me. She told me to do what I wanted, and then she would grade whatever I showed her. So that was so much fun. And it just kind of funny that I was so determined to be in an art class that I was like basically made my own. I just think it's funny. And one of the perks of being a small town student where everyone knows everyone and everyone knew that I loved art so much. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, so I was very determined to always be involved in art, always. And I'm glad I was because I love drawing, painting, sketching, whatever, coloring. I enjoy it all. I really do. And so after that, of course, I did my college courses. There, I was kind of all on me, which was kind of weird because for all these years, someone's been telling me what to draw, how to draw it, and I became this very realistic artist. Um, that's what I was good at. They taught us the grid method in middle school, and then I continued the grid method through high school and I would say even did it in college a couple of times, on my own. I don't think they taught that, but, um, the grid method, if you don't know, it's basically you draw a grid on your canvas or paper or whatever, and then you draw the same exact grid on your photo that you're using. And so each grid, each little square of the grid, you basically copy whatever's in that box. And it's just a way to like break it down and also help with proportions. So yeah, that was the biggest thing I learned, and that's how I knew to draw from middle school on was that grid method. And it was a great tool. I feel that it taught me a lot, especially when it comes to like observing. I was able to observe pretty well, and I used the grid a little less and less each time. However, like I said, I became this realism artist, and there's no problem with being a realism artist, and I do love that style. I think it's fun. I think that art is meant to be fun, and if that's what you find fun to do and to draw, that's great. Um, but after a while, I just felt like being a photographer and an artist, why am I doing the same job in different mediums? If that makes sense. It just felt silly because a lot of my inspiration would come from my own photos, and then I'm like, but why am I just drawing the same thing again that I already took a photo of? If that makes sense, it might not make sense to you. It makes sense in my head, but basically, I was tired of drawing pictures. I was tired of doing that. It felt boring. It was, it looked cool and it got me a lot of compliments, but after a while, I was just like, why? There's no creativity coming from this. There's no like artistic, I mean, I would make artistic choices here and there, but over like I like making artistic choices and I would like to pick things and not just go off photo reference. So that's like been one of my biggest goals recently is taking, the inspiration photos or whatever and actually making it mine, not just copying it, making a realism portrait and being like, wow, this looks so much like the photo. Yay, go me. um so yeah, that's been something I'm working on, and I actually think this sketch that I'm working on in this video here is a very, very great example of this because this self-portrait of me, um what it ends up looking like looks nothing like the photo, and I love that. It looks like me, but it doesn't look like the photo of me, if that makes sense. So I'm just very proud that I was able to do that, and like I said, that's been something I've been working on for a while, so that's been great. So yes, that's my artistic journey. Very vaguely, of course. There's been a lot more than that, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of artist block, a lot of things. But overall, that is what it's been like. I've been, creative my whole life, and I've been changing my style and my process ever since college. And I will say one of the biggest things that I have noticed since college is I've started to really love painting. I did not used to be someone who liked painting. I felt like there was too much flexibility in paintbrushes. It's not the same as a pencil. A pencil, it's sturdy. It's gonna paint or it's gonna put a mark exactly where I want it. A paintbrush isn't always gonna do that. And I felt like I had less control painting, and that was really hard for me, unfortunately. So yeah, this next part where I'm about to start painting here, this kind of shows you how I do it. And of course, I had to get my Dutch Bros first. So this is going to be done mainly in watercolor. Ignore my nasty palette. Gross, but this is a older watercolor portrait that I did, and I'm just using it to kind of help me color pick. And yeah, so I'm gonna start painting. We're just gonna do this in layers. I am not a master in watercolor painting at all. It's actually probably one of the paints I use the least. My usual painting medium, and don't come at me for this, but I usually use acrylics. um, I am a messy worker, and I'm just scared that if I were to use oil paints, that they would be everywhere. And I'm also just nervous because I live in an apartment. It's not like a well-ventilated area, so I just don't know enough about the safety of oil paints and doing it properly to use it yet. I've been thinking about looking into water mixable, water soluble. I think it's water mixable oil paints. I do think that Those are an option that I could use, but I just haven't bit the bullet and bought them. So the main paint I use is acrylic. And then second, I would say is gouache. I've gotten into gouache recently. I enjoy my little gouache palette. It's a cheaper palette, so it's not like super nice gouache or anything, but it's fun to work with, and it's always a challenge for me to try to not pick up the bottom layers while I'm painting. So yeah, that's always a challenge, but I enjoy the process. And then watercolor is my other paint that I have and use, but I use it the least of the three. I do enjoy though when I every time I use it, I'm like, wow, I don't use this enough, and I don't know why I just don't. So yeah, so we're just gonna keep using this same kind of skin tone and build up the layers until I get the desired color that I'm looking for and the desired shading I'm going for. This on the side here, you can't really tell, and I'm pretty sure it gets covered up at some point, but it was supposed to be my hand, and it's one of those choices that I decided to get rid of because I do have my hand up in the photo, but I just thought it looked silly and you couldn't really tell it was a hand because it's in my hair. So that was one of those artistic choices where I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of this. And I don't know when it goes away, but I do remember that it's not in the finished painting. And you can already see as I'm painting the hair here, the piece of hair that was in front of my face, the little swoopty piece that I sketched out, I already got rid of that as well. I decided I didn't want that in the piece either. So yeah, I'm just making all these artistic choices. We are now coloring in my hair, or painting, my bad. And I'm just avoiding all of the little blob pieces, I guess is what you would call them. The little pieces, I don't know what to call them. The little colorful, they'll be colorful at the end, the little pieces that going across my face and my hair. There, I want to avoid those, as well as the stars, because with watercolor, not, it's see-through. Why can't I think of the word? Watercolor is too like transparent, translucent to put a light color over a dark color. It just I feel like will not work. I guess maybe if you have really nice watercolors, you might be able to do that a little better. However, I have a very cheap, pretty sure that palette is like from Walmart from when I was in high school, so these are nothing fancy going on over here. So I do try to avoid those little spots, and then now we are going in with a darker color for the shadows, and this looks really dark, and the more I paint, the lighter all of this feels. So yeah, see, I'm going in with an even darker shadow color already. And this is just to define the hair some more. I actually had so much fun with the hair in this. My hair was in like a blowout style when I took this photo. And just like the swoopties of the like curly pieces, it was just really, really fun to get the detail in there. My hair is normally more mm, wavy, curly than this. And so I just kind of draw like squiggles for that, but this was like more intentional than I would normally draw my hair, so this was kind of fun. Um, Once again, avoiding those little darker pieces that, oh, just kidding, went right on over it. I must have decided I didn't like it there or something. So we're just gonna continue chipping away at the hair here. I I do a lot of layers on the hair, I believe, and it ends up turning out really good. Oh, peep my head. Oh wow, my hair looks a mess. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I need to get close to the stuff to see. Oh, yep, there, yep. Mhm. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, everybody. You will see it a few more times though, because I am not wearing my glasses in this video and I need to see what I'm painting, so especially when it gets to those details, yeah, I need to see what I'm actually doing. So, my face might pop in a few more times, so sorry about that. Anyways, we are just shading away over here and doing just all the places that normally have shadow, those eye areas, under the lips there, the nose, of course, and it's coming together a little bit. I think that shading really brings art to life. You're adding a light source when you add shading, and you're adding basically like context. When you're adding lighting, you're adding context to what you're painting. And I just think it really does change so much by adding shading. Of course, there's art and art styles that are executed very well without shading, but for me personally, I think that that's a huge part of my art style is the shading, and of course, my art style is going to reflect what I like. So it's a huge part of my style because I enjoy shading. I think it's one of the more fun parts of art. And I'm saying art style very loosely. I don't really have like a style per se. Um, I just kind of do what I'm feeling at the moment, and I love so many art styles that I kind of take aspects from, and it's constantly changing. So I personally don't feel like I have like a dedicated art style, like something I do every single time I draw or anything like that. People who do, that's great. That's amazing. Good for you. I'm not there yet. So, yeah. And back to the painting, I lost the footage for the little squiggly guys. I do apologize. I can't, this video was filmed a while ago, so I don't remember if I just didn't turn my camera on or if I just accidentally deleted something. But yeah, so we lost that footage. I just did some watercolor and blending with that, and then I think I'll go back over some of it here in a little bit. But we're just adding a second layer to the background and some shading spots, and oh, my eyes are a little scary in that. But yeah, we're just chipping away, going back and forth while we let things dry. This is when art gets really fun, is when you get in this ending stage where you're starting to really carve out shapes and add detail in there. And wow, I'm very impressed that my head was not in that for that. Very impressed by that. Um, and then it looks like this is when I took the background color and I used it for some like outlining and add it to the eyebrows, to the lip shading in the middle, and my upper eye line there. And I was just, I don't know, I don't know what was going through my brain when I did that, but I'm so glad I did because I love it. It looks so cool. And I've never done anything like this before where I added like a totally wrong color to add lines. Not totally wrong, but like, like a color I wouldn't normally use. Like, normally I would not do that. I would use black probably. So it was kind of fun to incorporate the background color to do that. And then now you get to see me painting over some of those little squigglies again with the watercolor and then some more outlining. It's looking really good. We're getting there. It's almost done. And now we are also using that same color again for some more detail in the hair, which this is the part of the hair that like it brought it together, y'all. It made it stand out so good by me doing this. So I'm just really proud of this whole process. I think I had a really good art day this day. And now you see me sketching. I just kind of wanted to add another star. And I had this like idea, like what if it's a shooting star and it's like going through my eye? And that's it's not really a shooting star, but just like the concept of it, I really liked it. And we now are pulling out our acrylic markers to go over because doing that part in watercolor paint would not have worked very well. So yeah, we're gonna bring out the Artex acrylic markers just to add the detail and add some more structure to everything. So we're getting really close to the end here, and these final little parts are going to be me filling in the stars on this page. So I'm gonna start by adding white to this one. That way, oh, that looks really good. That way it's easier to stand out. And then I went and found some like light yellows or like a tan to fill in these other stars because I didn't want all of them to be white. I thought that would be quite boring. I wanted some more yellow on the page, so we added yellow to the one up top. And then also this little white like sparkles as well and details. This was like one really fun, but two, I feel like it made this super majestic and super like space vibey, which I guess it already had a space vibe, but this like really brought it out by adding all the little sparkle little white spots. And then I also went ahead and added this date stamp at the bottom that you probably saw me drawing earlier. But I wanted to actually track how long it took me to get through a sketchbook. I don't normally do that. I usually just kind of start it and then finish it whenever. But I wanted to see how long this one would take me and see if I could do it before a year. But yeah, guys, this is the finished piece. I love her so much. I don't know. I just had so much fun with this and it turned out really, really great. And as you guys can see, this was filmed in January and it is July. So it's taken me a while to do this, but I'm so happy that I did. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you are interested in more art videos like this, especially process videos, I have a few more coming up, and as of right now, I'm going to try to post every Saturday. I don't know if I can keep that up, but I'm going to try my very best, guys. And I really just appreciate all of you that stayed this long throughout the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye!